Is it on radio or what?
The music.
Should do some tests in a minute. Checking my phone. Testing. Testing. Go on live. What's happened? Yeah, it happens sometimes, mate. Dee 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 dee. Back in a minute. No Apex. Fiend. Change this sign over to Sean. This one here.
Sean attending.
Yeah, I'll get Sean in, yeah.
One Sean to attend.
Yeah.
Guys, apparently you get double audio. I'm not sure how to fix it because I'm not a tech whiz. Whose mic is echoing? Is it the guy with deep voice?
Why can't I change it?
Figures.
Fuck's sake.
Right.
There was a log here. You like put it on.
Yeah, there was.
PK.
Yep.
I'll make sure everybody's them.
Why can they not hear you or something?
Okay. I might put it on. Jasper.
Sean needs to go.
Yeah, there's in that box though. In that box. Over here, Sean. And here, mate.
Right, guys, what I can do is I will use my microphone. So I'm going to use my microphone.
Scum Paradise. Welcome to the stream. Just waiting on the devs to arrive and then we're gonna rock and roll. Can you hear me? Hello? Hey?
I can hear you.
Sorry. There's Ravko Breski. Welcome to the stream, buddy. I hope I pronounced your name right. Yeah, I gathered it with you. I gathered it with you. Alright, I'll be back in a second. Be AFK. Just gotta do something. In the meantime, listen to this cracking tune.
When you drop a link in.
Hello everyone.
I never.
Okay, I wanted to see if I can join
Ah!
reminding me that I need to activate this mobile phone.
What's happened, Lever?
All good, all good.
Good. How are we doing? You okay? Sorry, Sean. Sean, you there? Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry about that. I wonder why I went quiet. Yeah, cheers. Cheers for that, man. A very hot mic. What do you mean? Feels a bit alright to me. Is it too loud, you mean, Swoop? Is that what you mean? Just bring him in. Just bring him in. Get another churg on. Yeah, just bring him in. Yeah, get me a churn aside, sod it. We'll have an extra special one. Fuck it. And the guests are not very audible. Okay, buddy. Thanks for that. Just give me a second. Give me a second.
You just need a chat.
I've been sitting on floor. Right, bear with me again. Let's just check this audio out. Right, okay. Is that better? Swoop fly. Is that better, buddy?
Can you drop the link to the stream in Discord?
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Can you drop a link in the Chaos Studio Discord?
Yep, no worries.
And do a server announcement.
So you can hear everybody, yeah? Maybe when I start the actual live stream, you know what I mean, you might hear us better. Maybe the music's a bit loud. So I like it. Cheers, buddy. Appreciate it.
To me, you are really loud.
I'm really loud.
Yeah, I had to turn him down.
I have done myself, so.
Is it not my voice breaking the mic? So deep. So deep.
Such a deep voice.
Yeah, baby.
Hey PK, can you pull on Snick?
I will, yeah.
Snick's in Scrum chat, you need to pull him in here. There we go. And then you have to unmute him.
Alright, bow.
By the way, Layla. Hello, Layla.
Unmute your mic, Snake.
Yo.
Hello, bud.
There we go.
How you doing? Right, we need a link to my stream as well, don't we, in Discord?
Pause, guys. It's not stops.
Nick, are you on mine? Are you on the server or no? Hello, Layla.
Unmute your mic.
Guys, if some of you are wondering what this sign is, we lost a very dedicated player 2 weeks ago called Deadburn or Suicide Sausage. Sadly, he passed away. It's been a big hit to the game, so I thought it's only fitting that I put my own little memorial Q&A for a big learn.
Cheers, Ray Kit, you're a star. Thanks for that.
So I think we're just waiting now on Dita.
1 minute late.
I know.
Kick his ass.
Leopard, just reach your arm round and give Dita a slap on back of the head.
Yeah, I was just sending a message. He was not in his office, he was looking something.
Mark is better now. Thanks for that, sweet fly. Appreciate it, man.
I was going to say that it's not enough light on him.
Yeah, I put more candles down.
You don't need that light, you don't need too much.
Guys, check the microphone and in-game voice chat. I think it's double voice.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think it's mine.
I'm not clever enough, I think.
I don't know how to do it. I'll put this big shit.
Which option's your audio? Sound.
See, the thing is, I'm not sure if it's...
What's your audio planning on?
Well, my microphone's muted. No. I'm muting the mic.
Right, sorry.
No, I'm not. No. No, I have. I've muted my audio.
Right, me, I'll see you. Okay, no problem, buddy. Don't you start barking now. You barking up. Get out. Come on. Oi. Get out. Hello, Noodle. Welcome. Right, while we're waiting on Thomas Lam, I'll go and make myself a brew. We're back in a sec, guys.
Yeah, Data just have to server by the way, so it's
I think I've... oh dear. Oh boy. Anyone?
Who's shooting here?
yeah, there's a guy out there trying to shoot people.
So I think I wandered onto the fire.
No, someone shot you.
Yeah, someone shot me as well.
Someone shot me?
It looks like hacker gassed me because he was shooting at me through the wall.
Yeah. Very old. Someone gonna revive me. Anybody alive to revive me? I think that I don't know if somebody shot me. I didn't hear a gunshot.
No, they shot you, trust me.
Shot me as well.
Yeah, all three of you. You didn't shoot me for some reason.
I'm still alive.
I did it. Mike, what time do you call this? 5 minutes late.
Just gonna stay. Just gonna stay. They're dead.
Right, I'm back. Why am I bloody dead? What's going on here?
Someone came by and shot us.
Oh, get rid of him.
Shenanigans.
Ban him, get rid.
Shenanigans.
I told him to stop, he stopped.
Oh, get rid.
If he doesn't stop, he's got a one-way ticket to the chimney.
Yeah,
I told him I would teleport him. Exactly. Go to our jail.
Yeah, stick a bitch in there. Welcome to the stream, everyone, by the way. Thanks for joining us.
Somebody, they want to revive me, or should I just teleport one?
Wait, how do I revive you?
I'm in the same spot. You just come up to me. Revive me.
I have an option to search and chop you up. That's it, bro.
I think I might be dead then.
Right,
You're
press,
dead.
press
Yeah.
yeah. Let me try reviving.
Yeah, I can't remember though. We need to unmute Jacob.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay at the moment. Apologies.
Yeah, I think he didn't like me.
Oh, it might be his. Okay.
I better go. Yeah, do my fault. Eater.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
There we are.
Okay, okay.
What time to call this?
Alright.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Huh?
late. 1 minute, come on. Everyone's just vanished.
Yeah, 1 second.
Everyone's just left me.
They abandoned you. Nobody loves you.
Hello. Must be an Apex kind of thing, yeah.
Something like that. Hello, Moff. Welcome, buddy.
Chop me up and put me in the box.
Check the seat in a box.
Just chop me up and put me in the box.
Just had a slight issue. You had some gooner shooting us all. Someone's going to raise your base. Dean.
What?
Someone's going to raise your base.
Tell him, bring it on. Who said that?
Moff PHC. You're going to raise your ass.
Right, sell him off with me. Yeah, there's more chance of me raiding his base.
They can hear you.
That's good. Well, yeah, there you go. Back your base. I'm done raiding for a bit. I'm mentally to minutes away from my raiding. That's what it's like for.
I'm traumatized.
Right, we're waiting on everybody to arrive now, yeah? After that.
That was not long, yeah.
We had
Oh.
to make it interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, what Q&A be without somebody on the outside shooting?
So that's true. Bit of immersion, eh? Any new players watching, welcome to SCUM.
Put it in the most discreet place ever, and they're just like, "Yep, I know where they are. I'm gonna go get them."
Exactly. You always get an opportunist, don't you? Can't fault them, really. Still want to ban him, though.
Drop the hammer.
Hello, Ian. So how's it going, Ray? Is everything good, mate?
Say off, you got a switch to.
Am I? No.
Who's that sat in my chair?
Sean, do you have a switch to?
I do, but I'm not streaming on it.
Do you want to do me a favour? I might need to help
You want me to host?
No, I want you to go into my stream and I want you to help me delay questions.
Okay.
Just why I said join half an hour early.
It might
Get a few things sorted out.
so delay questions when you ask.
Okay, guys, I'm on the server, so
Okay.
I'm gonna pull you
gonna
in,
take
David.
me. Yeah.
Got an allure.
There we go. Okay, that was teleported.
Hello.
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 Coming in line.
New box.
I need a
I'm still joining the game.
Where?
box over here. Box behind me.
Are you?
Mystery box.
Just go ahead then. Please go ahead so then we'll go as well.
Okay. waiting for Andrej?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aye.
I'm joining. I joined the game right now. Just a second.
Of course, PK's got to piss on fiends.
What is
Always.
that?
Rude not to.
Always pissing and shitting on each other. What's with my
IRL
brother?
too.
Ah, well. I was trying to piss on Dida. He's not
You
into
can
that thing.
try.
Bounced off a fiend's head.
Yeah, come ahead. Yeah. Devancing Warmuff. Raid my fucking base. Bear yourself.
You can teleport me now. I'm in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, let me grab you.
Yep, let me do it then. There you go.
How's the video quality on the stream, guys? Just let me know. Because on my side it looks crap. Don't know why.
It's fine on my side.
That's all that matters.
Leva, I'm not seeing you on.
He's probably on a wrong, different server or something.
I use this IP from the video, from Twitch. 172.
No, that's a different IP. That's the other server.
Okay, give me a
That's
second.
Yeah, that's the US server.
Can you paste into the chat right IP?
Give me a
Send,
moment.
I mean, I did DM you, Leather, so if you check your DM from me, it's right there.
Oh, I see it. Okay, okay.
Thanks for the
Oh,
follow,
my light
Moff.
went out.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the follow, Zavko. Much appreciated.
Is everybody live on stream now?
Aye. We are.
Not everyone.
There we go. We'll all be blue.
What are you doing with that flare, Dida?
Yeah, because it's dark.
You're very dark,
Just
yeah.
stick it in his ass and pretend it's a fucking firework.
Pervert. Oi!
It's not me.
Right, let's park my ass.
I'm on the server right now.
Right, okay. Let's get him here.
Yeah, I got you.
Let's get his show on the road, man.
Yeah, I see him.
Hold on, let me invite you real quick.
Cup of coffee.
Oh, I can't
That
invite
beats
you.
it.
Apparently, I don't have the ability to.
I don't
I'll
know.
do it.
I'll do it now.
Oh, groovy, baby.
Lever, you've got a seat there next to Dida. Oh, there's always one in there. Got to stop at the party.
Guys, your food is old. You should get new one.
Blame Sayer. He's the cook. Sean! There he is.
The lights went out.
You need
No.
some fuel. There's some logs outside.
Stick some bloody lamps up.
It's a vegetable oil.
See, this is why we need electric.
Right?
Just need to craft a bloody lamp.
A gas lantern.
Someone didn't pay their bill.
Yeah, Sean. Sorry.
Hey, it wasn't on me.
So
I meant Zaya. My bad.
we've resorted to flares.
Sexual flaring.
Everything's just sexual with you.
It is. It's the kind of guy I am.
I think you're frustrated.
Not really.
I think you are.
Ask your mum.
Oh dear.
Right, back in a minute. I need more orange juice.
Inked, that's
We will get started
Fiend.
shortly.
we will. We'll get started shortly, guys. Sorry for the delay. But yeah, that breathing is apex. Yeah. He's getting excited.
Oh.
Very excited, I think. That's why he's had to take a moment. AFK. So is everyone today alright?
All good. Yeah.
I'm a bit hungover, me. I'll be honest with you. Rough as a badger's arse. I suppose there's no you though.
I
There we go.
Okay.
Silov. Are you there, buddy? Get the show on the road in a minute. Unmute your mic.
We lose that fire too.
Right, let's get this started.
Right, okay.
Right, so
We've got
first
an
of all, I'm going to start this first of all. There's been a lot of talk of a server wipe, and a lot of people are using it as an excuse as to why they've left the game. So, if you can confirm, is there actually a server wipe coming?
Andrej,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We promised before, because there's lots of changes with 0.4 update, so we definitely need to do a full wipe. But it was a little bit problematic because it's actually announced too early, so some people actually left because of it. So in the future we'll do it a little bit different way. So now it is like it is. So with 0.4 we will have full wipe for
No
whole
worries.
servers.
Okay, guys.
So go on, PK.
No, go on. I'm just saying.
Is there a time when this wipe is going to be?
No exact time. When we release the patch, we'll do wipe like 1 or 2 hours before that, but we are not 100% to exact date and time when the patch will be out. It's pretty huge. We are still finishing some kind of feature, testing others, polishing it up, so it can really move 2 or 3 days here and there. So it not be great just to promise exact date and time when it will be out.
No worries.
There's a question. Can I just bring a question in from the stream? Somebody saying, what changes requires the wipe?
We are changing some stuff in database format and how we are doing some things and optimize it in some ways, and it's the best way to do it. And there is also I think this database, at least on official servers, is currently 6 months old, and there is lots of stuff that is already piled up there. So it will be good moment just to wipe everything and get a clean slate, including performance reason.
Right, okay. Another
And
one?
Leva, real quick, would that include private servers?
Yeah, private servers also. So it will be forced globally.
Okay, brilliant.
Great.
Saya, you want to ask a few things, I believe?
I mean, well, where do I begin?
Yeah,
A
exactly.
few.
He's got like a list the length of his arm, man. Right, go on then. You go.
Okay, let me find the question. I think I'm gonna open up with the it's
Told you his list
a
is long.
permanent death.
Permanent death, you say?
Yeah. Say, you're breaking up.
Yeah.
Are you with us?
Saya?
Ground
Alright,
control.
so I think he wants to know if you're going to add
Well, yeah,
any
permanent death, and every time someone dies. Is it
get
the
a bad
line?
connection.
Is it breaking up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still breaking.
Give me for a minute then.
Right, let's skip question then. I'll come back to Saya when he pays his internet bill.
Right, chat, get your questions in, guys. I'll do my best to relay them.
Let me pull up the list that we asked our group.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'll ask one. This is one that I know Saya was asking before. With the current situation with the game development, are you happy with the progress that you have made so far? And do you have an idea of when we're looking to leave early access?
Well, I can answer this one. Yeah, we are. Let's say that we are pretty satisfied with how things are going. We are not completely sure about the exact date because we're still, let's say, on the halfway through the whole game. The current development consists mostly from adding basic mechanics that will improve the overall feeling of gameplay. You will see a lot of changes and new stuff, especially regarding the vehicles and everything in the next big update that it will be released in the following days. So no exact date set still, but we're sort of expecting to bring the game to the version 1.0 somewhere next year, probably in the, let's say, Q2 or Q3 next year.
Okay.
Great news.
Right. So there's a question here. When will you really work on optimization? Content is nice, but the game needs some major fixes, i.e., frame drops, city lag, ghosting, etc.
Andrej?
Yeah, I will cover that. Yeah, we're constantly doing on the optimization. There is few big things that we need to solve. Currently, the biggest one is definitely the streaming of the new location, especially can be seen on the city because city is 3 times bigger than any other location on the island.
Yep.
So in some situation caught us unprepared, and we are really pushing the limits of the Unreal Engine. So we are doing some under the hood changes to support better performance here and there. We are also so that Epic is doing also changes in the new versions of the engine that can definitely help us. They had a similar problem on the Fortnite, but not to this extent what we are trying to achieve. So this will definitely help us. This is ongoing process. It's very hard to do something at once because we are constantly measuring the game, doing profiling, see what is the bottleneck, then trying to fix it. Then you do the measurement again, and it's pretty exhausting, but we'll get there. It's just a matter of time, especially with this rate of the patches that we are releasing every 2 weeks, and it's always that we need to do for this specific patch. At the same time, we are doing long-term, bigger ones, and also trying to squeeze the some new performance out of every patch. But until 1.0, but probably this year, in few months, I think we will solve some bigger issues regarding streaming, loading, and performance in general. And I'm really happy. We'll probably also explore options with the X12. We did get some pretty nice results there, especially for this large amount of the object that happen in the cities and with large bases. So this is also field that we'll explore because first results was very promising.
Okay, so do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Right. So, but before I carry on, Lever. So, one, like in the city, you've got a lot of high buildings, some of which have got nothing inside them. So, wouldn't it make it less laggy if some of those buildings were actually hollow, so the higher floors?
Not that much. It's the problem in general is that on small area there is a large number of objects, and even if you don't see them, they need to pass the engine and call at one moment. So if city was a little bit more spread on bigger area, it will be a little bit better situation. But to achieve that kind of density, we actually having like 3 times more objects, including physics one and visible static meshes, and it's a little bit different situation. And there is also for 1.0 version, we are doing the optimized version of the city, so it should be better situation even with the object count. So we are right now profiling and testing the new version. I think that we achieved the same density, but with much less draw calls and the physics object, at least on that location. But there is general problem with loading.
Okay, I would just like to comment one thing regarding the optimization. So PK, both PK and Apex knows, they know about my PC and how it looks and how it runs.
Spectrum.
So I have I have really shitty machine back at home, and when we released the game on low settings, I could barely play it. I had like maybe 14 FPS. Right now, I can play it on the same settings almost without any issues. I have between 50 or 60 FPS at any time, and that includes city. So the game is already, regarding the content and rendering, is pretty well optimized, especially if you take in consideration that it's probably the biggest game of that kind that was made in Unreal Engine, and none of the competitors that we have seen so far has not nearly so huge amount of things that we're currently covering the game. The issues that we have are concerned with streaming, are concerned more with how Unreal Engine has been built regarding streaming huge terrains and many items and everything. So this is something that we are trying to fix. From one side, from changing the ways how the Unreal Engine works, but also with switching versions of Unreal to get some sort of upgraded stuff from the Epic. But you cannot expect things to start working just like that if you're like just plug and play in Unreal Engine. It doesn't work that way.
So based on that, will SCUM be updated to Unreal Engine 5 in the future?
Well, it depends when it will come out and the state of the game and everything. We will definitely keep track on and update the game constantly as we are working on it. So if Unreal Engine 5 gets released next year, we will definitely see if it's possible to switch the game to Unreal Engine 5. But just that you don't expect too much from Unreal Engine 5, because when you see all these movies and everything, it looks really great from the promotional side. But if you take a look and look at the Unreal Engine 3 promotional movies, you will probably see that many games today don't look so good as they were presented back in these trailers. So
bait and switch, isn't it, Dida? They call it bait and switch.
Yeah. So just you have to be a little bit conservative regarding that. Unreal is definitely using technology in great way, and we are pushing it, to the limits. We're constantly in the conversation with Epic guys, and they're amazed with the stuff that we're actually managed to put in the game, and that it actually runs really well. But just switching the engines will not make much of difference. You will not see like sudden changes in stuff. It takes a lot of work, especially from the content side, to use all this new stuff that they are providing. So it's ongoing process. It will not happen over the night.
Yeah, it's good to mention that Epic is they announced that Fortnite will be port somewhere Q2 next year. So they will probably have the publicly available engine around next year, and they will need some time to switch it. But what I saw right now, the major feature of Unreal Engine is just the mesh virtualization. So I'm not sure how this can help us a lot just to produce better geometry and probably streaming of this kind of geometry, but it's not like it will replace all the meshes that we already have for all the assets in game. Maybe some of the new stuff that will enter the game will be using this new technology, but everything else it's just a classical Unreal Engine with some new technology for mesh virtualization. Texture virtualization already exists in Unreal 4.24. So if you are doing some large textures like satellite pictures on the terrain, you can just stream them from the location where you are and just a small portion of the texture, so it's much faster. Something similar that Rage was using on ID Tech 5. This already exists in engine, but they produce something completely new, and that's the streaming of the very large polygon count meshes, and they stream in only what you see. So if we start using these high detail meshes, then Unreal Engine 5 will help there. But in general, idea is not to lag behind, because Epic is always doing some great stuff regarding optimization, and all the games that are working on Unreal Engine constantly finding new stuff, how to improve it and share with the Epic that include in every other engine. So for us, it's just best not to lag behind currently available version, because we'll have much more problems if we are skipping 4 versions like we did with 20 and 24. It was very exhausting, like almost month and a half was needed just to switch, and we also produced lots of errors. So our idea is just to try to check all the versions and move slowly one by one version, and it will be much easier.
So you're adapting basically each time. Yeah?
Each time. Right now we already started with 25, and after 3-4 days, it's almost I'm almost done with fixing all the errors that we have. So it should be much faster if we are doing version by version all the time and continue a journey toward the number 5.
Sweet.
I have a question here. You go. You
yeah, I want to fire off a question from the chat, you know, because asking questions, I want to get them in there as well.
Yeah, go for it, Fiend.
Okay, so right, there's one here. When will AI drop? This game is really missing that aspect.
Yep.
Yeah.
AI,
we are not sure
NPC.
about timeline, but we'll definitely start with a simpler one. We talk about expanding this safe area where you can trade with NPCs. The first version of the NPC should probably be in the form of traders inside the safe areas. Then we'll continue with different type of AIs. We just wanted to set up some of the features, because in the patch notes you don't see the lots of things that happen under the hood that are not still exposed.
Yeah.
But we are working on lots of different things just to support that in the future, and this is not ready feature. For example, 0.4 is already in production like 3 months, so you don't see anything in the patch what is cooking behind the scenes.
So you can actually say now that you're actually working on any NPC content at the moment.
Yeah, there is some work there. We'll see when this will happen. I hope it should be done until end of this year in some form.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
So by the end of the year, you're saying that there's a possibility that NPCs could start, you know, coming into the game slowly.
Yeah, slowly.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I've got a question here. Do you want to relay it, Sean?
Yep. So I read about the ghosting effect is connected to TAA. Is there any testing or intend to disable it in any way? I think there was a setting in one of the ini files, but it didn't have the effect.
Yeah, this TAA is complete disaster in Unreal Engine. You will see that all other games have it in some degree. It really depends on the view and what you are doing there. Temporal anti-aliasing is solving one of the biggest issues and brings a lot more. The temporal A is trying to fix the temporal motion flickering that happens when without anti-aliasing engine cannot decide if this pixel is visible at this moment or not because of the rounding error, and you will get, for example, tiny objects that shimmer all the time, especially foliage and stuff with very high details. And idea with TAA is just to take the last frame and try to find, based on velocity, where's the last pixel. And because of that, you get the stable image while you're moving, but at some point this tapping last frame, you will probably get some kind of ghosting. And we actually reduce it as much as possible. But I think Unreal Engine 24 changed something internally, and now the ghosting is a little bit inverse situation than it was with 4.20. So this is definitely on the still on the to-do list, and to see how to improve it. We are also talking with AMD because they have some kind of algorithms how to improve it. And other thing is just to turn it off. Unreal Engine has 3 modes. One is no AA, one is FX AA, and one is TAA in 3 or 2 quality levels. And one of the problem is if you turn completely temporal stability, picture will shimmer a lot in Unreal Engine. It's insanely how flickering the pixel all over the place. If you use FX AA, you will get a little bit blurrier image, but you will not have temporal stability motion. And also, one of the biggest problem why we are not allowing to disable it right now, because lots of feature doesn't work in Unreal Engine when you disable AA. It's crazy, but for example, you will lose reflections of the object on the ocean, on the rivers, on your gun if TAA is disabled. So right now it's forced, but we can definitely explore options just to give the people to play without ghosting, because for some people it's maybe causing some kind of sickness, same as motion blur does. So we can definitely add it into the option just to support that, but we cannot say that every feature like reflection will work in mode without AA. I hope it's problem that Epic is not doing that much on the TAA. They are actually satisfied with the results they get, and there is no much work done, almost 10 last versions of the Unreal Engine. So yeah, for them, they say it's fine, but
Yeah,
it's
cheers.
not.
Thank you for that one. So there you go. Paxi, there's your answer.
Okay.
Moving on to Saya.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'll
yeah,
say.
go for it.
Right, so there's been a lot of talk about a new roadmap. Can you elaborate on that?
Who said that?
It's always the question. Always a good question, isn't it? Who said that?
Yeah,
Better questions.
Yeah, regarding the roadmap, well, we have a roadmap that is more or less baked within the game design document from the beginning of the game, but we also included a lot of things that were not planned because we received the feedback from you guys, from our community. Also, we saw that during the testing and everything, some things were not like acting in a way that we assumed that it would be good for the game. So eventually we added a base building, which personally my feeling is that it has improved the gameplay a lot, and we will additionally improve the way how base building works. We're working currently on it. But let's return on the roadmap. So we have a roadmap set pretty clearly, except maybe for the things that will eventually come into the game as base building did. Now, for us, since we're still a small team, we have like 30 and some people within the team with very limited amount of programmers. What people don't understand that sometimes we have to choose between sort of our favorite child. You know, in the future, it's not secret, and it's not a problem for us to put the roadmap, you know, visible for anybody. But the main issue is that we would preferably avoid putting dates on specific features, because it's really hard to give some sort of estimation when, let's say, boats will be in the game, or I don't know, underwater life or fishing, unless of course we go with this, let's say, different approach to the things that we sort of expose to our community, what we are planning to add to the game, and then let them choose, what they would like to see first.
Right.
So
I think a lot of people are wanting bikes and boats. I see that going around the community a lot.
Yeah.
Have you got any idea on when they could possibly be coming, or?
So I can tell you what is going to be sort of planned, because once we finish this patch, which is a huge one and will bring a lot of new things and completely change some mechanics, hopefully to better, then we will probably sit down and think about the next step. So obviously the biggest issue that is sort of following the game from the first days is the optimization. So this is something that has to be fixed, in the next iteration, and it will be fixed.
Okay.
Along with that, so when I'm talking about features, you can imagine this as couple of, at least one, but most likely couple of programmers start to work on something like that. So optimization is something that covers all our programmers and all our content. So a lot of people are working there. Guys optimizing the city. We are considering to push the borders of and make a bigger map. Also, that will when you get with the streaming will be possible.
Yeah.
So, but there are also things that we find that would bring the game to the higher level, and that's of course AI, NPCs, atmosphere, story-related stuff, especially for the single player, because so far the single player was, somewhat put behind.
Yeah, people are just using it to test things now, aren't they?
So these are all huge stuff, having some sort of missions and everything regarding the game, which is MMO in multiple game, is complicated. It would probably take a lot of iterations until we get something that actually works well for single player and multiplayer at the same time. So what I can tell you that in the next iteration we will definitely go for the optimization. We will go for boats and fishing.
Yep.
We will go for metabolism, which is almost done.
Yep.
Can't wait.
There will be a lot of changes there, and you will see. We will probably have to change how the character creation works a little bit, and you will see changes, which is something that we would like to avoid as possible. But I'm not sure if that will succeed in that, because we have completely changed how metabolism works to better, and UI and everything. So you eventually will see how some things were simplified, some things were made a little bit more complicated by the way that you can actually learn how to cope with certain stuff. We will add a lot of sequences and everything. So to make things more, let's say, interesting. But these are all things that were, especially metabolism, that were developed in iterations during the last, almost 1 year. Andrej, you can correct me, but because of optimizations, because of cheaters, because of these small updates, we basically add into the game each 2 weeks a lot of small stuff, including some features for admins, some features for the game, and work in parallel on a bigger things. I believe that there is no, at least as far as I know, developer that was capable to perform something like that with our team size. So we're still waiting for people to be asking them to be a little bit patient to wait for and understand that this whole process of making stuff and bringing it practically to AAA level, it's not easy, and you will see this in the update that will follow in the next couple of days or weeks, maybe a couple of weeks, not more. But eventually we will get there. So if you want more or people would prefer more bikes.
Yep.
That's not the problem for us. But we can. I really doubt that we can push bikes and boats at the same time, because when you have development, Andrej explained that better. You can you have people that sort of specialize in certain stuff. So we have just, let's say, one or maybe two people who are capable to add the vehicle in a way how it's implemented in our game. So some other games, especially when I look on the competition, and even when I look on the AAA titles, have much simpler mechanics, below the hood. And for example, our vehicles, they're literally behave, depending on the weight of the passengers, where they sit. It's much more realistic, and this is something that will eventually pay off on the long run. So this is not maybe something that you have noticed, but if you sit, for example, with two fat guys on the left side of the vehicle, then it will steer differently, in turns than if it's if the weight is distributed evenly. So this is all realistic, and that's why it's
even if they're wet, Dina, even if they're wet as well.
Yes, of course.
Right.
So these are all details that most of people are not aware, but they're in the game. And we cannot just give something like that to junior, because junior programmers will not be able to handle that. So if our audience wants boats, and I think that the boats are probably the best next step, because we already have vehicles for the ground and everything, for the roads, then we can give them boats. But if they want bikes are completely different type of vehicle than like something with four wheels. It has to be done from the scratch. So then we will give them bikes. But from usability perspective, I think that the boats are much better, because we can release patch with boats, fishing, a sort of underwater life, maybe sharks and everything.
Sharks
that will bring the whole new
immersion
level of experience and immersion to the game.
Fun.
Yeah, it will be.
Leva, I got a quick question for you. Quick question. Server owners and server admins want to know: will we have the ability to IP ban?
IP ban? Yeah, that can be done very fast, very easy. It's good also to mention that this kind of stuff people are requesting all the time, and when we see that some request is highly popular, then we're adding it to the fast list, and it will go much faster into the game. It's also good to mention, probably lots of people forget that from outside you are not aware how much we are fighting with the cheaters. My prediction is around 25 to 30% of the time of development we are losing because of the cheaters. So it slows down the development a lot, because they're constantly breaking stuff and we are fixing it, and it's constant battle. And this is something it was very hard to predict in original timeline and how fast things will go, because nobody even expected that SCUM will be that kind of popular, and popularity attracts cheaters and exploiters, and because of that lots of development times goes with that. So imagine in this almost 2 years, if you count 30%, how much of the features can be done in these 5 months that we lost actually because of it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's crazy, but we probably at this point should have safe zone tradings and boats and fishes because of these 5 months of development time.
Right. Okay. So should we get to some questions in the streams? Should we start pumping out questions?
Yeah, we have one. We have one from your stream, PK. Regarding player numbers and version 0.4 coming up. What are your marketing plans to draw players back to the game? Are you planning to cooperate with other streamers, with game magazines, game promoters, etc.?
Yeah. So far, we have put a lot of efforts in marketing before the game got released, and we got a lot of traction and everything, and we were not just talking about features that will be present on early access release, but some of these features were presented as the features that will be present when the game gets finished. So some people got confused because, you know, they see something in the sort of trailer and it's not in the game, or it's a little bit broken. But that's the whole point of early access.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Now, from that point on, we became independent. So, you know, maybe you're aware of that or not, but we're not we're not anymore with Devolver Digital. So we're, you know, self-published, and this is something that you know, we saw as a best way to, you know, push the game further. But, you know, also we are developers. So most of our marketing efforts were to present the progress of the game and the stuff that are inside, and this is also time consuming for us. So if you have seen, and you have probably seen our previous videos that we were released before the release of the game, before the early access, they were really detailed and everything. And to make the video like that, it usually takes couple of weeks. Right now, with, you know, with everything, with features, hackers, cheaters, updates, switching versions of Unreal Engines, you know, we cannot afford to, you know, spend so much time to make nice videos about the features. So we decided to make, you know, like smaller updates that are like video blogs that shows quickly about the game. Because most of the people don't read patch notes, you know, and we have constant, you know, constant huge amount of messages of people asking stuff that are already in the game. I believe that a lot of people don't really understand how many things have been built in the game so far. So, but in the future, what is in front of us, and that is especially after we sort of wrap up everything regarding optimization, because this is a step that we just want to pass, because we are sick and tired of people complaining, you know, about stuff.
Yeah.
Although the game is, let's say, in 90% really good condition, much better than anything that can be shown from the competition, you know, that we're sort of having currently on the market or will be on the market. But eventually, when we get there, you can expect things like free weekend that will bring a lot of new players to our game. And we also are currently negotiating with a couple of big marketing companies that will, you know, more or less, we will probably pick one of them and also start investing money in streaming, you know, to bring the attention back to the game. As we get closer to 1.0 version, we probably start focusing more on marketing, because until that point, the priority for you know, for SCUM, for the game, is to bring as many features as possible and complete the game. So that's sort of our plan. I'm aware that it's not perfect. You know, it will be kind of cool that we have a special branch for marketing. We tried it, it didn't work. We actually had much better marketing before we hired marketing manager for the team. So we learned from that, and, you know, our conclusion was, you know, it's simple. Let's do what we do best. Let's make this game the best, you know, survival game on the world.
Right.
Hold on.
Talking about features, I have a question here. Asking about when animals can be tamed.
Sorry?
I said, talking about features, I have a question. When can animals be tamed?
Or will you be able to have
yeah.
animal pets?
Yeah. So
Will be pets.
actually, that is already in the game. Andrej, correct me if I'm wrong. Because
Yeah, it was done.
It was done, I believe,
Very
5
long time
months
ago,
or
but
so before. Before the game was released. So you could actually tame a bear and everything. But I'm not sure why we didn't include that. the
We are missing a lot of other features because it's not just important to tame the bear. Idea is if this bear is saved in your base, if this bear will attack other players and stuff like that. Do you need to feed him? How you are feeding him and some other stuff that
Feeding
needs to be
puppets.
done to wrap everything around that feature. It's not like you just add vehicle. What happened when vehicle despawn, how to handle performance of that, how many animals it can be supported that is tamed on the island. And I think that what you see regarding vehicles is just on the surface is 10%, but there is lots of optimization issues. How many vehicles are running on the island, how fast you will despawn it, what will happen if a vehicle despawn 250 meters and player is despawning 1000 meters, what happened with this player, is this saved, how it's restored, what if that vehicle spawn maybe in the middle of the wall and stuff like that, and there is thousands of different combination that can happen on because of that feature. So it's not like just add fish to the water. How do you interact with them? How do you kill them? Can you eat them? There is items that needs to be created, lots of icons, localization, insane amount of the work always small features can bring. So yeah, we tested it fast. You can approach the animal, you can tame it, and then we'll need to see high level gameplay, how you will feed it. And
you could have actually gave animal commands. So I believe
that was also implemented.
I was testing, like I shut the bird down and then gave commands to bear to bring it to me, and he actually did that. So
a little forager.
Nice.
so it's in the game, but we will not give it out because we like to play it, have something for ourselves.
All right.
That's a bit selfish, isn't it? I mean, come on.
Give it to us. Right, here, we've got another
Here you
question
go.
here.
Go on.
Swoopfly. Leather, how is the CPU used in SCUM? Does the game use more than 6 cores correctly? How is the multi-threaded workload handled?
Yeah, it's multi-threaded. The problem is with any engine that it's very hard to produce 100% on all cores, because you will always have the main thread, game thread, that will to some degree update the object, check the visibility for all of them, and then see what is visible. Then you can spawn another thread. Actually in Unreal Engine it always exists, that will collect all the visible stuff and generate commands for the rendering. So currently rendering is second thread, physics is second thread. There is lots of small jobs, for example doing some navigation for the AI, and lots of small jobs, probably 100 of them are on different cores, but you can always just few parts of the engine do multi-threading, because some of the stuff will happen on the main thread. And one of the reasons why currently these hitches we have when we are loading the level, because all the object physics textures will load on another thread.
Yep.
And when you are inserting the object to the scene where this object is ready and becoming visible, this inserting of the object in Unreal Engine happens on the game thread. So we'll actually get a spike in few milliseconds on the main thread, and this is something that Unreal Engine is improving. Another thing is Unreal Engine has some kind of very robust garbage collection system, and when a new level loads and unloads, this garbage collection hit and try to see if they need to delete something from memory or keep it, and that give us huge hitch right now, and that's probably the biggest and the most important one that is left. And only part of the garbage collection is also multi-threaded. Some of the stuff happens on the main thread. So it's for the game performance, not only SCUM and all others, it's very important that your main frequency is high enough. So what CPU speed is better on the single thread side, it will always produce better FPS in general.
Right,
so
okay.
that works for all the game. It's doesn't matter if you have 64 cores and you only work on 2.5 gigahertz, you will experience very bad things.
Yep.
But if you are rendering something in 3D Studio Max Maya, you will get probably 60 times better results than on single core CPU. But
Okay.
game is a different beast, and always lots of things happen on the zero core. So all the other cores will be idle to some degree, and main core will always have the most work to do, and everything else will then be tuned
Alright.
based on this main core.
So well, on that note, there's a lot of people saying they're having issues with their hardware at the moment, overeating. It's been said a few times. We heard this last night. A few people have said the PCs are just switching off playing SCUM lately. Could you?
Yeah, let me elaborate that. There is nothing special to SCUM. It's just the Unreal Engine. We are currently not sleeping in any way in the game. So let me explain that. Game is always like one tight infinite loop, and game will just produce frame as fast as possible. If you are producing frames in 60 milliseconds, you will have 60 FPS, and PC will run as fast as it can until somewhere you put the sleep. For example, if you are doing VSync in your game, then you will render at frequency of the monitor and just stop and wait. I have just dropped from the game. Let me join in back.
Yep.
He was kicked because he's cheater.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And just a second. My computer is doing something in the background, so that's why probably kicked me because of hyping.
Just as we're discussing hardware.
Yeah.
Timing is perfect.
And it's not bad when game uses your GPU to 100%. People don't understand when your GPU is used 60%. That means that you are CPU bound. So your CPU doesn't produce enough commands or the jobs for this GPU to be utilized 100%. So you actually bought too fast GPU for your slow CPU. That's one important thing. So if you're running the game at 100% CPU, 100% GPU, that's the best solution. But of course, if CPU and GPU is running at 100%, you produce lots of heat, like you're mining bitcoins.
Yeah.
And in that situation, it's better for you to limit FPS to some degree, so GPU can be idle 10 or 20%. But for performance testing reasons, it's always best to remove the VSync to see if you are GPU or CPU bottleneck. So if your CPU, for example, doesn't use 100% without doesn't produce enough job to the GPU at 100% utilization, then your CPU is slower, so it's maybe better to overclock it in some way or buy the new one. But if GPU is 100% and CPU is low, then it's maybe better to put the bigger resolution in the game just to use that. But main idea is if you like your CPU and GPU idle, just VSync the game. We are not doing by default any VSync. And you can be happy if you are 100% on both things. Just VSync it or limit the FPS in some way, so you don't burn out your hardware in some way. That's the reason. But if you have like 50% GPU, it's something wrong with your system. That's without VSync. That's abnormal behavior.
Okay, we've got a
the game is not optimized then. Yeah.
Got it. So we have a question from Noodle. Some of the concept art that you had for NPCs showed lab workers and the like. Are there plans to add the ability to experiment on players or create mutants in the game?
This is possibility. We will not. We cannot promise anything until we, see how these things work. But we were talking about options of actually giving, players possibility to role play company personnel too. So until we sort of make all these NPCs and place them where they should be in the game and assign them with different tasks, we will not go that far, but eventually that might be a possibility. So if you want to...
A goat just ran through us here.
Yeah.
Did that go just through the wall?
Yeah, that's normal. for goats.
Welcome
in
to
Croatia,
SCUM,
at
folks.
least.
Welcome to SCUM.
Yeah, so eventually one day you can expect that you might be role-playing something else except a prisoner.
Okay. No problem.
Okay, so I've got a question that I've been wanting to ask. In the film, the original film Battle Royale, every so often a grid section, a sector, becomes uninhabitable and the contestants need to escape in time or the explosive collar is triggered. Is this something that you would consider adding to SCUM?
Yep, we are looking to some this kind of bigger challenges that will cover sectors for players. This will come eventually in some sort of atmosphere update, atmosphere pack that we are planning to do for the future. The guys are working on the content guys are working on some sort of prototypes right now that will provide players with different type of or I would say parts of level. So you can imagine this as some parts of the level will be burned forest where it's really hot, it's really stressful to get inside. It will have completely different sets of NPCs and monsters inside that are sort of I would not say made from fire, but they would they can live in this habitat. So they're more like burned and stuff like that. And also there will be something like swamps and radioactive areas and areas that will change the sort of layout of the level, but it will also provide players with more rewards who decide to go in that direction. This is part of the things that we are sort of planning for this atmosphere update. And the other things that we are planning are these dynamic hazards that might happen to parts of the island, because we saw on some private servers who have, let's say, war zones or hordes of puppets spawned at specific location, that this is something that players enjoy because except for people who like to be fully left alone and roam the woods, most of the people enjoy having some sort of bigger danger or something that will happen on some let's say random occasion.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Will there be a reward system for players who successfully reach the end game?
Yes.
For example, escaping the island.
We have several solutions for that. Some are a little bit.
Will there be a player account progression system?
Yeah, of course. The most basic one will be probably achievements. So you will get achievement that only players who manage to solve everything and get out of the game, especially in multiplayer, because single player is much more easier because there are no other players that might get in front of you and cause issues. So, but we're also thinking about some other things that maybe players who manage to finish the game might be rewarded in some other way. This is something that doesn't have directly link with us, but it also has its team. But you can imagine something like if you finish the game, then maybe you get DLC for free, something like that. I cannot promise you that, still, but this is something that I would personally love to see in the game. So if you devote a lot of hours in the game and you manage to solve everything and finish the game, we sort of reward you with something further to play with, let's say.
What about an account progression system such as weapon masteries, which reward cosmetics for completion, similar to other games?
This is also possible. Now with weapon cosmetics and stuff, how that works in other games. Well, we have a couple of issues because it's not something that cannot be solved. But let's say that if you get some weapon or some skin for weapon and everything, what happens if you lose that weapon? You know, it's a little bit unrealistic if somebody else takes that weapon and have your skin, but it will be like normal thing because you lost that weapon. But then again, what happens if you get a new one? Do you get the skin automatically? And how the players will deal with this kind of realism, because it's a little bit strange. It's much better, but it works much better for games like PUBG, where realism is not that much important. So yeah, we were thinking about that, but it all depends on how people will sort of accept it.
Right. So I mean, if that happened, then
Thanks for the follow.
the skins could become valued and perhaps sold on traders.
Yes, that's possible. One thing that we will bring in near future is in-game, money. We will divide fame from currency. So fame will be used only as respawn, for respawns and everything, and for fame as being famous in the game. While all other things that you find, you will be able to sell and get money. Okay, I have connection lost.
I have as well.
Yeah,
Hold on a sec, guys.
Yeah,
Server went down.
so this is something that, well, we saw that it works really nice, especially on private servers, and people enjoy that. So we will definitely include monetization and economy, and in a certain way in the game in near future.
All right, Dida. I've just got another question here. This Overwatch, he's asked this twice now. He said, my wish list as an admin. Yeah. 1, longer laser eyes, more than 50 meters, please. 2, faster drone with no hub, free. The ability to hear in-game voice and talk back via a mic. And also on that note as well, can we have the ability to talk to players in the drone?
This is we have a full list of features that were requested from admins.
Yep.
For us to implement. I believe that maybe all of these things that this guy has mentioned are on the list.
Definitely.
Yeah, and if they are not, I beg you, please contact our CMs on Discord. Tell them what you want. We'll put it on the list, and eventually it will be in the game in these like 2 weekly updates that we have. Brilliant. So. We're definitely we have sort of have just a second.
What, we've lost 2 people. Where's Lever and Fiend?
They dropped. Server crash.
Yeah, before that.
Okay, so we up until, let's say, couple of months, we didn't lot for admins because we were concentrated on adding features and everything. But we decided that we add in each 2 weekly updates some of the commands for admins, just to make things easier for private server owners and our community managers that are fighting most of the time, fighting cheaters and hackers. So yes, all these things will be eventually in the game.
Okay.
So I've got one that you may or may not be able to answer. It's an interesting question. What are you personally looking forward to adding to the game individually, and why?
I'm personally looking forward to NPC and storyline, because we already have. I sort of when I started to design the game, the first thing that I wrote is a story and history and everything that happens, not only on the island, but what happens outside and everything. So this is something that we'll probably add at the end, after all mechanics were added. But this is something that I'm really looking forward, because like majority of people really don't understand what a SCUM will become eventually, with missions, with NPCs, with sort of AI characters that will approach you and everything. And I'm really looking forward to it, because it's the first thing that was created for this game before, we actually started with features and everything.
All right, connection dropped again. What's going on with Chaos today?
I'm back here.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to clean the kitchen sink. The cat decided to take a dump in the kitchen sink. I wouldn't mind.
Are you sure that's not what you were doing before when you went AFK? You dirty
It's better,
twat.
better than the bed, right?
Aye.
Oh, it is, yeah, but you know, I wouldn't mind the back doors open.
Question. This has come up a couple times. How do you plan to
I
expand?
need a knife. And sorry to
single-player mode.
interrupt. Has anybody got a knife? Sorry to interrupt.
There was one.
There was one. Here
Oh,
it is.
there it is. Right, okay, carry on. Fucking
worries.
dying here.
So how do you
Shot.
plan to expand single player mode?
How we will expand single player mode. So basically, single player mode and the multiplayer mode will share the similar story. We'll share the similar characters, but instead of players that will be on the island, we are planning to add NPCs that will cover certain areas and sort of replace this feeling of meeting somebody in the multiplayer game. But basically the same principle of storyline and everything will be the same for multiplayer and the single player, and it will work in the same way. You'll let's say that you get on the island, you will get some sort of introduction and you will start playing the game. Now with single player, you will eventually be approached, or you will approach some NPC who will give you some quest. And basically this game is a sandbox game. Nobody can force you to do anything. So it will be up to player to decide to follow the storyline, or do whatever he wants or she wants on the level. Yeah. So if you eventually choose to follow the mission, a mission will be pretty much simple, because we have to make the same thing for single player and multiplayer to work. But the mission would be go from point A to point B to do something, find something, and return or return back to point A, or go something C, and give this item or something to somebody else. And this is something that you can find in many games. So let's say Far Cry, GTA, this type of games. For single player, more or less would be like storyline that at certain points you'll be able to choose. I will not tell you much because I don't want to ruin, but you will be able to choose whether you will be on a good side or a sort of bad side.
So like a faction? Like a faction?
Not like a faction,
no.
Because in this world that SCUM is happening, there is actually no good or bad. This is something which is really similar to cyberpunk or this kind of universe.
Yeah.
But currently you cannot see it on the island, because the island was made to look like our current time, because it was sort of popular.
This server getting DDoS or something, because it keeps going down.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is.
Someone pissing around.
Yeah, maybe you have issues. Somebody.
Yeah, I'm gonna check on that.
Yeah, double check.
I've got a question here quickly.
We need to get to the. Hold on, after that we need to get to the questions in the chat as well. Just focus on them now. But go on.
Well, this is a question in chat.
All right, sorry, apologies.
So basically, Koala's asking about flying.
Flying will be possible. Eventually, we'll have to choose the timing. Again, should we make bikes, or I don't know, kites, or maybe helicopters, smaller planes, maybe tanks. All these are vehicles, but yes, eventually we'll be able to.
One minute, was that a leak? Maybe tanks.
Seems that way, America.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, my idea was to have unique airdrops with military vehicles that have weaponry on them with limited ammunition. I mean, I mentioned this to Lever several months ago.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is this kind of things will be part of what I said before about this random events that will happen, on certain sectors. Let's say maybe plane crashes with some sort of gear, or you have military vehicles fully equipped, or you have poisonous arena around a certain sector that shrinks and just one can survive. So these kind of things we're looking forward to implement, and there will be something like that in the game eventually. One thing which is kind of really important, because what we would like to achieve is that we have on SCUM that we have different layers of players. So some players will just want to survive and nothing else. Other players will like to
So you basically just going to be a...
I agree with that, Ray, 100% actually. Ray's got a point, so this is not going survival if you have military airdrops. Yeah.
So this is we want to give fully sandbox experience of doing anything that what you want. If you want to finish the game, you have opportunity to finish the game along with, let's say, 10% of the players on the server, but you have to calculate that all others can, you can stumble on any kind of faction. Maybe you will have to get into somebody's base to retrieve something as a mission. So things will get complicated. So this is why we sort of want to have different types of players within SCUM, because having players makes things unpredictable, and that means interesting for the game.
Also, I agree with a lot of what people said in chat. We've got to stick to the lore and the survival aspect of the game, really, haven't we? Keep to the survival side of it. Never let that go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, adding, you don't know disrespect to say, but adding tanks and things like that, it'll just turn into a
No.
battlefield. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So the thing regarding tanks, now. Everything has to be balanced.
Yeah.
If you expect to get fully loaded tank with everything, then there's no point of adding tank. If you find a vehicle that you have to put fuel, you have to repair, you have to maintain, you have to put ammunition, everything to use it, well, that's different. Because that's a struggle. That's interesting.
So what if, say if tanks were there, like maybe a rundown tank somewhere, it takes you a hell of a long time to get that fucker up and running. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. It's not going to be literally, there you go, there's your drop, there's your tank, go and blow shit up.
Yeah, so there is a risk and there is a reward. Eventually, at what point we will probably change the way how you can get through the walls of bases. Currently you can use mines and stuff, but mines are not meant to bring down the walls. But eventually what we can do is that if you bring down, let's say, sentry, you can loot the sentry and get C4 or some heavy explosives that are on the sentry and use them to get inside the base quickly.
What?
Wait, you're not supposed to say that. That's supposed to be secret.
Well, he said it.
Well, I'm just talking out loud. So, the thing is that when we are discussing this kind of things, this is like brainstorming.
Yeah.
This is something that we do each day on each feature. This is something that we do while we read the comments, on the Steam. Literally each day when I get to work, our CMs send me links, data, please read this, please read this, please. So the first couple of hours, I'm just reading, feature requests from the Steam community, and then I'm taking, stuff that we can actually implement that have sense, and making a document. Usually write them down in our 2 weekly updates. So it's something that people probably are not aware of. But I start each day with this kind of things. So this is basically brainstorming. If I tell you, okay, let's make sentries fly or something like that, I'm not sure if that will work, in some cool way. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But if we eventually find out that at the point we can do something to improve the gameplay, if we add, let's say, to sentence options to rocket jumps and stuff like that, then we will probably do it. But it will probably take iteration of talks, maybe requests from the community, ideas that we implement, something like that.
I think ultimately, obviously, people just want SCUM to be the survival game it is. I think that's what most people wanted. Just the survival side of everything. Just keep it the survival is.
Survival will be, like core basic, the law, thing for the game. This is something that, we are making survival game. But thing with survival, when you get to the certain level, when you get the base, when you get the gear, when you don't have to fear if you will find the food or not, then you have to give additional things for people to do, or the game will get boring.
that's true.
pretty much quickly.
I suppose you do it in a sense, like I said, balancing before. You do it in a sense, make it a challenge to do certain things, get certain things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about fishing. You know, basically, you don't need, okay. You don't need fishing in the game really, because you can find food in different kind of ways.
Yep.
But it's one of things that is fun. It's one of things that you can do while you're not doing anything. And
I mean, surely the game should have a lot of. It should be open world survival with lots of different mini games.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So maybe one day we add football. You know, maybe basketball. You know, maybe sports. This is something that, you know, we can add like years after 1.0, you know, release. The game will not stop at 1.0. If you look at any survival game that got out early access, except maybe, you know, some other games, which one game that I won't mention name, they all evolve.
That's a good idea, Maximus.
Yeah, they all evolve. So it just depends on what community wants.
Well, that's it.
I think you should bring in some kind of DLC. We had this conversation a few months ago, but I think you should. Well, the game, in my opinion, is SCUM. The game itself, as it is now, should be obviously survival, and you should bring maybe down the line, you know, a mini games version of SCUM.
Yeah, that's possibility, but I will, until we wrap this game to be in the really good condition, we will not go thinking about making DLCs.
Yeah,
it's only a good idea once the game is content complete.
Once it's done, once the game's done. The thing is, as well as here, saying someone's saying don't add tanks, don't add RPGs, don't add any hardcore military stuff. This is not armor. Then he said if you want to do stuff like hardcore military stuff, add game modes. That it is server optional. Basically, just give people the option in sort of an event mode or something like where they can use tanks and stuff like that, have that different experience.
Yeah, so for us it's currently really simple. I believe that it will take us a couple of months to make Battle Royale game from SCUM. It's really, really simple. But, you know, I don't think that it will be fair to our community for us to just switch and make some sort of game mode. Unless, of course, you know, we have like thousands of people wanting us to do that. Then, yeah, sure.
I mean, speaking of game mods, that's the first question that I was going to ask. What do you think about a game mod where it's basically last man standing, and when you die, you turn into a puppet, and then all the puppets go after the humans?
I don't know.
Go after the last man standing. What do you stream? What do you reckon to that idea?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds great, but it depends on many things. It depends on the size of the map. If it's too big, it will be boring because you know players have to be concentrated at a certain point. It depends on how much players. Yeah, how much players will be on the island. Let's say on this area. If it's 50, you know, I don't know. What's the point of having like maybe a couple of players and 40 these puppets, zombies, whatever? You know, so I believe that there is definitely good opportunity for this kind of mode, but all these modes, all this gameplay stuff usually sounds really, really cool when you think about it in your head.
Right, on
but
paper.
When you put it on the paper, then you have to solve problems. You know, eventually, if it is simple enough, it will work perfectly. You know,
I should imagine something like this would come in when you introduce people turning into puppets when they die naturally.
That was the plan that we had before the game got released, and we experimented with that. But you know, although it sounded really cool, eventually people when they got dead, they didn't want to spend a lot of time being slow puppets, you know, trying to, you know, roam around. If we create some special, like, you know, monsters that can track players, then yes, it's possible. It's much better because, you know, being a puppet is not fun. So this is from you know, trying stuff.
Right.
Our response was, okay, it's cool for the first 10 minutes. Then nobody is around. I will respawn as a player. Yeah. That was the response of everybody who tested this kind of gameplay.
Can we move on just to something else? Overwatch has said this, Thomas Love. I once again want to thank the devs for putting a nod to my very poorly wife in the game and in the city. Susie was here, forever grateful. You know, thank you that. You know.
Okay.
To solve that, you need to. Okay.
Rakit saying players are abusing the IED system, yeah, and have really pushed players away by planting IEDs on every bridge, outside every base, and every door on POI. Dev's thoughts: it's an horrendous experience. IEDs were a base mechanism. Now it's simply abused. Basically saying here, and then on that note, Eon ZA says, will server admins have the ability to limit the amount of mines earned per player in the future?
Sure, why not? We just have to put that on the list.
Yep.
Now, with the mines and everything, we have within our weekly tasks about maybe 20 requests from the community. Just yesterday, I have put some stuff from what guys from Steam have, forwarded me, our CMs to me to read. So what you can expect from mines? The first thing is the mines that around your base will be self-maintained as you log in, as all other stuff, because I don't want to go with from mine to mine and maintain it, or we'll actually do it for all stuff that you have in the base, that you don't have to lose too much time about maintaining stuff. It should be automatically, because that's sort of cheating players into have more game time, which is boring.
Right. Okay.
Now this is something that relates to mines. Also, the second thing is that mines outside the flag areas would be players will have to maintain them, but they will decay much faster.
Right. Okay.
So this is the other thing. The other thing that people wanted is to make improvised mines little bit more difficult, because they're really easy to make, and people put a lot of them. So this is also on the list. It will be probably one of the next updates, that it will take a little bit more resources to make improvised mine. We will not just switch it to the higher experience level just like that. We would like to go step by step.
So basically, make it a luxury to get these.
Yeah.
So people have less of them.
My personal opinion, I think mine should be within a player's flag area only.
I don't know. I don't agree with that just like that, because I like to, for example, take mine with me, make some sort of let's say that I wait for a vehicle to arrive, put the mines around, and try to disable the vehicles and take the loot and everything. So I don't like limiting players in options that they can do in the game. Instead, I would rather go with balancing stuff that sort of ease out all the problems that other players have with mines. So we will actually add mine detector in the game too.
Okay.
Right.
So people with mine detector will be able to detect mines. We will also add, and we have added in the current last update, possibility to practice mine diffusing, and we added the stuff that all mines have a couple of tries before they explode, because nobody wanted to defuse the mine because risk is too high. So this is something that we're doing constantly, and it's called balance. We cannot predict. We do everything in good faith, and we cannot predict if something works well or not. And people shouldn't be angry about it if we make sudden changes like with inventory and stuff like that, because if something doesn't work, you can see that we actually release hotfix in 1 or maybe 2 days and fix stuff as soon as possible. So yes, we are thinking about it. We're open to suggestions, but let's not make drastic moves. Let's go things by things, little baby steps, until we smooth things out. Because if we start like switching from left to right, we will not hit the middle, and the middle is solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, if you've given more control to admins in regards to the amount people can plant, I think that might solve it. Give it to the admins to control.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely. We will try to give control to admins to literally everything.
Items.
Items, so they can make the server in the way they want to make them.
Yep.
The only thing that we cannot protect players are, from admins that are abusing their authorities.
Of course,
and,
of course.
And this is something, this is something that players will have to choose by themselves. If somebody is treating them bad, they have to switch to players, to servers where admins are good. So this, this is something that they will have to choose, like buying, television. If you're not satisfied with one,
product,
product, you buy the other. So.
Yeah. I think obviously it seems like it's a fair comment about the mines, because I'd imagine if I were coming to a survival game and say we're new to SCUM and I'm walking up the run, every moment I walk I get blown to shit, it would irritate the shit out of me. So I think give more control to admins in regards to the items that I put down, mines, etc. And maybe just make it a luxury, like I said, to have these sort of things.
In my mind, put a restriction on the amount that they can craft based on the statistics.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because Noodle had a fair point. She said, "Help us balance the game until you guys bring more to the game." We'll help you along the way to balance it. Server specific to keep everything in check while you're developing the game. Because we're all here to help you at the end of the day. We're all here supporting you.
Whatever.
Everybody's here to support the game.
Yeah,
let us help you.
Yeah, what people usually, I'm not sure if they realize that, but there is always somebody who wins or dies in engagement of any kind. And the person who dies will, like 90% or even more, will be angry.
Of course,
they will not blame themselves. They will blame the game.
Yeah.
They will blame cheaters and everything.
Yeah. Daniel, he loved it. He said he laughed his shit off. He spat his drink all over his keyboard when he got blown up. He chopped down the tree and there was a mine in it.
Yeah, and we are not immune to that, developers. It happens to us also. If in many occasions I won't admit to myself that I'm, worse than some other guy who killed me. It's always something else. I sometimes I even, say what a fucking game, and I'm working on that game. So it's the same thing, But these kind of things happen with PvP games.
Yeah.
And there is always somebody who's not happy. But overall, if the feeling is right, if you can achieve to eventually get better, then we did the right thing.
Yeah. That's also, as I was saying, go back to the point, let admins obviously help balance the service, We've got more control, then we can balance them, and we can address that issue.
Yes.
So, yeah, let us help you. Is there anything else let's have a look at match. Is there anything in your chat, Fiend?
I'm just looking now, I'll just ask people. Those are a few, but I've got through them.
Still got a couple.
Feel free, fire away.
Okay, so, we're pretty much going down to the last questions now, but whatever happened...
You're breaking up, dude.
Yeah.
Breaking up.
Oh, say on your internet.
Buy me a new mic.
He's gonna hold you in suspense.
Why
You hear me?
are we waiting?
Does anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can hear now.
Yeah.
What happened to John Dick?
It turned into a puppet.
No. John Dick is really good friend of ours. He's also a voice for Series M. I'm not sure if you know that. And Series M4 is currently in production, and he's pretty much busy. A lot of work for him to make lines for Series M4, which will probably be a great game. So, because we're not currently in the marketing and everything doing videos. Oh my God. So
Sorry.
we sort of let him be. But John Dick will return in the game and will be part of missions and characters, NPC characters for the game. We have plans for him.
Okay.
We were taking bets yesterday on what his role would be, and we kind of figured that he would be the CEO of the company.
The elite.
No.
The elite.
No.
The elite. Right, here we go. There's another question, guys.
He's not that smart.
He don't sound smart, to be honest. Noodle says, will there be an in-game fame board so players can see who may be deadliest player on the best animal or the best animal hunter? Sorry. So like a fame board to obviously show the deadliest player or the best animal hunter.
Okay, this
Will
guy's
there
fucking
be a
looks like on the table.
Will there be a fame board?
I don't know what's the fame bot, so really I don't know.
Noodle.
Basically, in the safe zones, will there be a giant LED screen that?
Like in Hunger Games.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
how you
yeah,
go.
exactly.
Yeah, this is something that we have planned. We're not completely sure how to add this to the games so that it really feels realistic, but doesn't feel like punch in the
Right,
eye when you
right, yeah.
see huge LEDs and everything. But yeah, we would like to have them. Something like that in game. Like at the end of the evening, you have a list of most successful players for this day or maybe for this week or everything, so that people actually knows who's the best, who's ruling the server. Uh, yeah, and it will be linked with fame because there's no point of having fame unless you can brag about it,
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
star of
something
the
like
show.
that will be in the game eventually.
Right, okay, so he's got Maximus is saying here, will people eventually be able to host their own private servers close to their own countries that are not covered by GPOL or Nitrade?
Yes, eventually.
And on that note as well, I think he said something which I'm excited about if it ever comes, is modding. Obviously the server files being released, etc.
Andrej, can you comment
Yeah,
on that?
probably modding at some point. The idea is because we are too frequently changing the game and underlying mechanics all the time.
Yep.
If we enable modding right now, we'll probably break mod every month for you.
Okay.
So that's why we need a little bit to round all the features up to
Yep.
be steady and not changing all the time. So it makes sense to open the modding probably after 1.0.
Yeah, once the game's complete. Say,
It
say
would
it's
be
fine.
crazy that your mod breaks every month.
I can't wait
because
for that.
You're always changing something. Yeah.
I love modding. I'll be
That'll
creating some
be a
crazy
game
mods.
changer.
Oh yeah, it would. People can just create content and that it'll just open up the game so much as well. Yeah, so that's that. Anyway, Raykit's saying, do me a favour and just let the devs know I'm not going to be on DayZ permanently. Much love to them. Much love to them, and can't wait for more updates. Laughing my arse off.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good. I know. To be honest with you, I don't think people. There's many of us in the community have not given up on Scum. Clearly, we're here. Yeah, some players are going to leave. You can't make everybody happy. But I think obviously people need to not forget the human aspect towards it all. They're only human. We got the coronavirus shite going on.
There's no shame in playing other games. So definitely we encourage people to try any other game. We will improve ours. So eventually, when we got to 1.0, they will be able to see how SCUM will evolve, and we will just confirm that it will be the best survival game out there. My opinion is that it's currently the best survival game. We sort of need a little bit more content and AIs and everything, but when we get to 1.0, it will blow your minds. It will be the best game ever, and then we'll probably look for something else to do. Maybe I'm looking for woodwork. Something not like game development because I cannot stand it. Reading community Steam forums and everything and people crying about, But that's my problem. I'm joking. You're good.
Yeah, well, I say, a lot of us know you're trying your hardest and whatnot, I know some players are probably thinking, we want this one. Everybody just wants things immediately in society these days, in my opinion.
Right. Want the moon and a stick.
Yeah, but I understand the frustrations, people love the game, the passion, they want to see more stuff, they want to get into it, you know what I mean? So, but yeah. Has anybody else got any other questions? Because I'll get
I've always got questions.
Right, go on then.
Okay, so I wanted to play the game after taking a break. I came back and the head bobbing in game drove me insane. Can this be disabled?
Yeah, this is something that is actually a bug. And it will be, I'm not sure at what point of time it appeared in the game, but it was not intentional. So yeah, it will be fixed. So I will bring that matter again to our animators to see what they can do about it. For me, it was the same thing, So it's a bit complex to explain why this happens, but it's not intentional. It was somewhat, during maybe switching engines or fixing bugs. Mm-hmm. You fix something, you break something, and unfortunately it works like that. So I'm sorry about that.
Okay, so what do you think about paying an NPC to have a sex change or re-roll your character?
Oh, here we go.
I wouldn't go that far.
Asking the real
bloody hell.
question.
I wouldn't go that far.
Is that because it's a survival game and you want a permanent choice in when you create a character?
That's your protagonist, isn't it? Basically, that is your
Yeah.
guy until he dies.
So how about multiple character slots?
That's problematic. That's problematic for multiplayer because people will exploit these kind of things. People will make play
characters.
different kind of characters with different kind
Right.
of skill sets, and it's not something that we want in the game. Each time you add a feature that sounds great, there is always that guy or that group who finds the way how to exploit that feature and ruins the fun for everybody. So have multiple characters is not a good idea.
Is there any more questions before we wrap things up?
Has anybody got any more questions in the chat?
Are we done for today? Because we have work to do. Sorry, guys.
Lou wants to know.
Okay.
There's always one, isn't there? Hey,
There's always someone.
There's
isn't
always
there?
one. Right, ban him. Get him out. We don't want him.
happened
He's
there?
not welcome
Oh,
here.
my lord.
Go on,
Right,
do you
guys,
want?
I'm going to end my stream here. First of all, I want to thank you guys for coming along and answering some questions for these guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Also doing it again in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Anytime. I agree with that. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for tuning in,
thank
everybody.
you.
I hope it covered some things that you're asking. We tried our best.
So I mean, just wrapping up now. Is there anything that the devs want to get out to the players? Is there anything that you want to say? A final word?
Yeah, that's good.
Nothing special. Andrej, maybe you have something to say. I've been talking too much already, so. Just one thing. Have faith and give us some time, please. Okay.
Yeah, that's
all
the
we
most
need.
important thing because we are still here after 2 years working only on SCUM full time and overtime all the time. And if we didn't prove with 81 patch that we will finish the game, then what else we can show?
Well, that's it, isn't it? And I think as well, was it now? So you got Ray saying thanks to the devs, always stay safe and much love. Okay.
See you guys.
You've got end the silent lever patch when. I think we've already got the patch is coming. Do you want to end it? Just end it at that patch. When is it coming? Say 0.4. Call it 0.4. When is it coming?
I don't know.
We are counting weeks until.
It will be out in next, let's say, days, weeks, something like that. We are testing it right now. It has some issues. We would like to have them have it as polished as possible. It will have issues, of course, as any other patch.
Yep.
But I think that you will love stuff that are inside. So it took us a lot of effort to bring things to this kind of level that will be in the patch. So you will see soon. Have a little bit patient.
Okay, no problem. All right then. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks, Lever.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Peter.
you.
Speak to you soon.
Thank you very much, and I shall see you all in game.
Yeah, will do.
Yeah.
Cheers, gents.
See you guys.
Cheers,
Bye.
Cheers, Ethan.